I think it was a hard fought game. I don't think we got off to the start that we wanted to, but I think we showed our resilience, especially just how we responded to going down a goal and being able to come back, get a goal. I think is just a testament to our grit. And I think, yeah, this is just another building block. We're on part 2 of the season, and we got so many more games to go, so we're just getting started. Gosh. You're gonna make me cry up here. Yeah, it's been a journey to say the least. 854 days to be exact. And yeah, it was just surreal. I think I'm just so grateful for the belief that this club has had in me, and just being a part of the whole journey. And I think just like stepping on the field, like right before, I just think back to how many people worked so hard to get me there. I think of Corey Price, I think of Aaron Wida, I think of Kelly, and who's the one who golf carted me off the field as I'm sobbing when I tore my second Achilles. And I just like JD, there's so many people, Carly, and I feel like those are all the people who come to mind as I stand there and just standing on their shoulders. And then I run out on the field and I'm like, it's happening, guys, it's happening. It's been 2 years and it's here. And I just like, it feels surreal. Like, yeah, I feel like it's a dream. Someone pinch me. I don't think I was. I think I was kind of like, oh my gosh, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. And it's like, it's been a moment I've thought about for almost 2.5 years. And I feel like just the thought of that is what kept me going. And I think so many days I lost sight of that. And so for that moment to happen, I feel like for me, I was just like trying to play free. And I had a conversation with Grant Hill, and one thing he had said was just to have fun, no judgment, and just like relax, be yourself. And I feel like I was just like, I'm gonna have fun today. And I feel like that's what I tried to do. It means the world to me to like be able to celebrate with the people who helped to get you there, because this journey has been easily one of the hardest things that I've been through, and I wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for the people out there on the field. I think so many times I honestly I cried my way, I feel like, through these 2 years and just a grind. And I feel like if it wasn't for my teammates, if it wasn't for the staff and just how much they hype me up and have been encouraging me, and even like you said, like when I'm like walking down the side to like get the set pieces before I get on the field, everyone's like hugging me and like, yeah, let's go, Simone. And I'm like, all right, I guess I can do this. So yeah, I just like I'm the one sitting here, but it's like, it's not me. Like, so many people got me here. So I think it kind of feels like riding a bike. I feel like in this like 2-year journey, I've like honestly rekindled my love of the game. I feel like that's a big thing. I think when you're professional and just in sports in general, there's a lot of pressure, and I think you can lose sight of why you play. And I think in this 2 years, I've rekindled my love of the game, and I've been having so much fun, and it's been a long time since I've had this much fun. And I feel like when I got the ball and I'm dribbling and cutting and doing all these things, I'm like, I'm having fun. And like, this is so fun. Like, this is why I started playing like when I was 5, because it was so fun. And I feel like that again, and it's just the biggest blessing. Like, God is good. Yeah, I think so. But I think for me, honestly, today I was just trying to play free. I wasn't out there mentally evaluating how I'm going to do or how I was doing. I think I was there and having fun. And so I feel like, well, yes, like getting back into the groove of things and weaving, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like myself again. And I feel like I'm here because I'm having a good time, and I'm so grateful to be on the field. And so, yeah, I feel like my confidence isn't based off of outward things, but it's an inward thing. And it's just, yeah, the light inside me and the joy that I have from God and being able to play this game again.
Thank you. Thank you. Wait, sorry, what?
You started with your general thoughts on tonight's game.
It was a tough game. Going in, I knew it wasn't going to be like easy game. playing a team that's like bottom on the table, like they have nothing to lose, so they always come at you with everything they have. So, yeah, like it wasn't easy at all. It was an easy game, but we just look forward to to the next task that's ahead of us and just see how we can get the points that we need.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
In my mind, I only had one thought, which is what can I do to like change the faces of the fans? You know, like what can I do to give hope to my fellow teammates? That was the only thing that was on my mind. I was just thinking like let me do my part, but I want like the opponents to feel that okay, something has changed. So my focus was on just like helping the team and just like at least give some hope to like the fans so that they keep on like cheering on us. You know. Like we did very well, like going like towards the end of the game, we did very well. I think we did a lot that we were supposed to do in the first half, like just putting pressure on them. So I didn't feel any kind of pressure from the opponents like the second half, especially when I went in, because we had more control of the game. I think we had like the rhythm more than the opponent, but it's just unfortunate that we only had one goal, Yeah.
For
Well, it could be both. It could be easy. It could be hard sometimes. But it's just about like having the right people around you. And I feel like I have like the best people around me. So even when I go like months without playing, like with the spirit that is around me, like the players, the staff, and everybody, the medical, I feel like it helps me a lot to just like get my foot, up front because I have good people around. So I don't really worry much about, oh, I haven't played for a long time. I know I have good people that will lift my spirit up and they will make me, like be like in front of the game. It's very much like it was an emotional moment, for all of us, seeing our friends who have been like out for some time, having that chance to like, feel the ball like with like the whole team, it it's like it brings joy, it brings joy, and we're just looking forward to have more moments like that, like having everybody, even Lou, you know, hoping that we could also see her like in the next game, because it's good for the team, and especially when looking at the games that we have a very stretched, like second season. So we need every player. We need every player to be, like fit. We need every player to be playing. So it's good for the team, So we're just happy to have them back and to see them going. Yeah.
Sean.
kind of going off of that,
She's brilliant, She's brilliant, and I always enjoy like being on the same side with her, even like during training, because I feel like we read each other's mind very well. We connect very well. So whenever she has the ball, the only thing I think of is getting in the box and just see where the ball ends. So um, I would say like she's one of my, well, obviously all of them are my favorite players, but whenever she's on the ball, I feel like there's so much that can be done, even like the other end when she has the ball and where the ball goes next. I feel like she's always like picking the right spot, So it's always good to have her in the pitch, and like it's a good thing.
Yeah, kind of mixed because, we didn't start the way that we would have liked. It wasn't ourselves early on, and obviously Utah capitalized on that. They took an early lead. And it was much better in the second half, more energy, more intensity, a willingness to go and put pressure on them. And, we got the well-deserved equalizer, but it wasn't enough to win the game after that. So, yeah, I think overall it's 2 points dropped. We've always been very proud to play here and in front of our own fans and try and get 3 points, regardless of who we play, and we fell short today.
Awesome.
Seb, earlier in the week, you kind of talked about the importance of getting that first goal, and then 5 minutes in, they score one from well outside the box. Just how tough is that from a mental standpoint of having, conceding the first 5 minutes and kind of having to start from square one again and trying to build out from that point?
I think we all know, it's incredibly difficult to win games in this league. The parity within the league is very close, and we can't take for granted a team like Utah. They've had nearly 6 weeks to prepare for this game, and so they'll have their principles. They'll have an objective to come here and get the win. And yeah, it becomes incredibly difficult when you go 1-0 down so early. But you still have enough time to get yourself back into the game. And again, I think in that first 20 minutes, we weren't ourselves. We couldn't connect many passes. Other than probably the early opportunity from Barbara, we didn't really create much either. And so the weather delay came at a good time for us, because after that we were much better. We were a lot more intentional with everything that we did. And yeah, we had full belief that we'd come away with a win tonight. We knew that the equalizer would come. And we put immense pressure on Utah's back line, and we just fell short. The keeper made some good saves, some good blocks, but I sound like a broken record because it keeps happening. And so we need to continue to work on that, of when we're on top, scoring the goal.
In terms of Utah's play, they were very aggressive on their press, trying to challenge basically as you took the ball past midfield and really sending 2-3 players at the ball. How much of a challenge was that, just with the press, the physicality that they brought? I think they had 20 fouls on the night. Just dealing with that over the course of 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's a regular thing, I think, in this league. We have to do better. We have to, little separation movements, quality of our passing needs to be cleaner. A lot of the time it is player marking. So can you get away from your marker? And early on in the game we didn't do that. So listen, we'll review it. It's good to have players back in market as well. There's a lot of players who've been on international duty and missed a lot of the work that we've been doing leading up to this game. That's the consequences of having so many great players who are on the international stage. But yeah, we'll keep working at it. There's still a lot of games still to be played, and yeah, we'll just fine tune a lot of things. It's really fine margins right now, and if we can continue to improve in those 5 margins, we'll be talking about 3 points like today.
Kind of on the other side, you mentioned the second half and how much improved the team was, partly because of the substitutions you were able to bring in. I wanted to ask you about the goal that Prisca scored and the build-up to it, moving Corey to the left and having her start that attack, and then Simone as well with that early ball in, just having players that are making an impact off the bench like Simone and Prisca, but also just kind of the adjustments that you made in the second half.
Yeah, I think the quality of this group, we can mix up our style of play. And so, obviously early on we were trying to play a little bit more possession-based football to create opportunities through the lines and get the ball wide and cutbacks and using a lot of our midfielders. Obviously it wasn't working. So we had to adjust, and we have the players available to be a little bit more direct. So if a team's giving us a bit more space in behind, we've got players like Barbara, Prisca. Congrats to Simone Charley coming back from injury as well, because we've all been part of that journey for her to get back onto the pitch. So, and she nearly scored. She has a really good moment inside the box, and I think over time that will turn into goals as well. And like you mentioned there with Simone Jackson as well, a player who's come in midway through the season, continue to work on a game, and yeah, she showed her quality with a terrific ball. Prisca making that run, and executed a really good finish. And so, yeah, it's good to be unpredictable. It's good that we can adapt our game plan based on the opponent and the circumstances. And yeah, once we had those players on, we were a lot more direct in terms of how we were playing.
You've mentioned in the past of just being able to get players healthy, players back into the fold, getting them, 10, 15, 20 minutes here. How much does that help, especially as this season, it's so condensed, so many games coming up, competitions as well as regular season, but just getting them those little spurts here and there so that they can play a 45 or a 90 further on. How important is that just for you?
Yeah, it's good, and it's difficult as well because it is game moments. With players like Simone, obviously she's still restricted and we have to build her minutes up. Luana's another player that we need to continue to build minutes up. And congrats to both those athletes because, again, they've put so much work in to get into this position, and we're so happy to have them here and be available for us and start to contribute to this second half of the year. It's nice to get Rafa back, who's another player who's missed a substantial amount of time this year. And there's a few obviously niggles, and we've obviously got Anja Marti, who both represented Brazil, and congrats to them for winning. So yeah, it's been challenging over this period of time with so many internationals being away and players coming back from injury, and so we've had to move players around. But again, for the players who have been here in market, they've got their head down, they've worked extremely hard, and yeah, it's going to take a big collective effort to get the goals that we wanted to achieve at the start of the year. Everyone's going to have to contribute with the two competitions that we're participating in. So yeah, it's great to have some players back from injury and start to contribute some well-deserved time on the field.
Sean?
You mentioned the weather delay earlier, and that seemed to really kind of be a turning point in the game. Can you talk about what you told the players during that and how they responded? Yeah,
I think it was a lot to do with behaviours. We also moved Summer and Julie around. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah, we felt like that pocket of space was going to be more beneficial to get Summer in that position, keep Julie wide. And yeah, just before the weather delay, we made that adjustment, and then we had the delay, and we just talked about behaviours, being more intentional, like balls wide, make sure we have the intensity to go press and affect the player on the ball, and when we did that, good things started to happen. So both in possession and out possession, we looked at how they were pressing and how we can manipulate them and create goal scoring opportunities, and so. Yeah, we made some adjustments, and yeah, towards that half-time period, we were much better, and again, going into the second half, we were much better as well. We just, again, need to continue to work on putting the ball in the back of the net.
I also want to ask you about Prisca. When she came on, she really, it seems she really boosted the attack along with Simone Jackson. Can you talk about that duo, their play tonight?
Yeah, so as soon as Prisca came on, we felt like Barbara needed a little bit more support closer to her. So we took away the 10, moved Prisca as a double 9, and then had Simone Jackson and Julia giving us the width to really spread out their back line. We felt there was more spaces down the sides, but then also to get more support around Barbara was important. And yeah, with Simone, you can see her quality. She's still a very young player. She's still learning the league and what it takes to be a threat in this league, because there's some really high quality defenders. And so, yeah, she's a player that can contribute to our success. But we need to be mindful of giving her time as well, because the expectations here for Orlando Pride are very high, and so we need to make sure we're nurturing our young players and putting them in situations where they can continue to develop and be successful. And Simone Jackson really took her opportunity today.
Kind of going off that, when you have a young player like that coming through, and you've had a lot of those kind of young players coming through the draft or being signed young coming through like that and having early success, how do you manage that and ensuring that when they're playing the top teams and they're playing tough defenses, that it doesn't kind of shoot their confidence?
Yeah, I think confidence is a massive thing. So obviously right now, Simone's confidence should be high. She got her first assist in league history. But there's still elements of a game that she needs to continue to improve on. I think today, obviously, with the emotions and the excitement, it can be really high, and you can play with freedom. But then once you play against other teams, now they're watching you, and now they're finding different nuances to try and stop you. So again, it's just being mindful of the timing. We've got some really big games coming up as well, and we have to pick wisely when we want to add a player like Simone Jackson with her qualities into the team. So today worked out. It's not to say next week, she starts or plays. It may be someone else who can come in and contribute with their qualities to negate any sort of Louisville press or anything. So. This is the beauty of my job, because we've got so many quality players and we can find different solutions to try and beat the team, as long as we stick to our identity and our principles.
All right, we'll wrap there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
sir.
you.